Welcome to today's news recap. We've got significant developments from a foiled terror plot on U.S. soil to political tensions between world leaders and the aftermath of a powerful hurricane. Let's dive right into the top headlines making waves today. Afghan refugee charged in election day terror plot for ISIS. In a major development, the U.S. Justice Department has announced charges against 27-year-old Afghan refugee Nasir Ahmad Tawhidi for plotting an election day terrorist attack on behalf of ISIS. Tawhidi, who entered the U.S. in 2021 under a special immigrant visa following the U.S. pullout from Afghanistan, was in the final stages of preparing for the attack when federal agents intervened. According to the DOJ, Tawhidi had been communicating with an ISIS-affiliated recruiter and actively participating in pro-ISIS Telegram groups. His preparations included liquidating family assets, relocating his relatives abroad, and attempting to acquire firearms and ammunition. In a sting operation organized by the FBI, Tawhidi purchased 2 AK-47 rifles, 10 magazines, and 500 rounds of ammunition. Attorney General Merrick Garland released a statement emphasizing the seriousness of the threat, saying, "As charged, the Justice Department foiled the defendant's plot to commit a violent attack in the name of ISIS on U.S. soil on Election Day." Investigators also uncovered a video in which Tawhidi was indoctrinating 2 children with extremist ideology. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford weighed in on the situation, stating, "With escalating conflict in Israel and across the Middle East, we must remain vigilant against terrorism here at home." Bob Woodward's new book reveals Biden's frustrations with Netanyahu. Journalist Bob Woodward's new book, War, is generating headlines for its revelations about President Joe Biden's private frustrations with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during the 2024 Gaza conflict. Based on interviews with White House aides, the book claims that Biden referred to Netanyahu as a bad effing guy in conversations with advisors as civilian casualties in Gaza mounted. Woodward reports that Biden became especially angry after Israel launched a military operation in Rafah, despite U.S. requests for a delay to minimize humanitarian impact. Biden reportedly called Netanyahu a effing liar after the Israeli leader gave assurances that were contradicted by the offensive's outcomes. War also details Biden's attempts to prevent Israel from escalating tensions with Iran earlier this year. Despite U.S. efforts to contain the situation, Israel retaliated against an Iranian airfield, deepening the rift between the two leaders. This growing tension highlights the strained U.S.-Israel relations during a particularly volatile time in the Middle East. Hurricane Milton hits, Florida leaving 3.1 million without power. Hurricane Milton made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida, on Wednesday evening as a Category 3 storm, leaving over 3.1 million utility accounts without power. At a press conference Thursday morning, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis reported that first responders had already rescued 48 people. While no official death toll has been confirmed, there are reports of fatalities from tornadoes in South Florida. The storm brought storm surges of 8 to 10 feet and dumped up to 18 inches of rain in certain counties. Recovery efforts are now underway, with search and rescue operations continuing, debris being cleared, and utility restoration teams working to reconnect affected areas. DeSantis, along with FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, reassured the public that while the storm caused significant damage, it wasn't the worst-case scenario. Power restoration is making progress, with 635,000 customers already reconnected, but flooding remains a concern in the St. Johns River Basin. Florida Health Department demands removal of abortion amendment ad. The Florida Department of Health has issued a cease and desist letter to WCJB-TV and other stations, calling for the removal of a political ad from the group Floridians Protecting Freedom, FPF. The ad, advocating for a proposed abortion amendment, claims that Florida law does not allow abortions to save a mother's life, a statement the department says is categorically false. The ad centers on the state's Heartbeat Protection Act, which bans most abortions after 6 weeks but allows exceptions for life-saving procedures. FPF, however, argues that these protections are insufficient in some medical cases, supporting Amendment 4 to expand abortion access up to 24 weeks. The department has expressed concerns that the ad could mislead women into making dangerous health decisions. FPF, however, maintains that the ad is accurate and has accused the state of attempting to suppress free speech. The ad remains on air, raising questions about the boundaries of political advertising. DOJ suggests breaking up Google's monopoly. In a landmark case, the U.S. Department of Justice has proposed breaking up parts of Google's business, including its Chrome browser and Android operating system, following a court ruling that found Google maintained an illegal monopoly in online search. With Google controlling about 90% of U.S. internet searches, this case could reshape the tech industry. The DOJ also suggested ending Google's practice of paying companies like Apple to make its search engine the default on smartphones, a deal that cost Google $26.3 billion in 2021 alone. Prosecutors are also concerned about Google's growing influence in artificial intelligence and may push for the company's AI data and models to be made accessible to competitors. Google has vowed to appeal, calling the proposals radical and warning that government intervention in the tech industry could distort incentives and stifle innovation. Sean Diddy Combs to face trial in 2025 for racketeering and trafficking charges. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is set to go to trial in May 2025 for charges related to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. Combs, who has pleaded not guilty, appeared in court for a hearing in New York, where the trial date was set for May 5th. The charges stem from a 2016 video that surfaced, showing Combs allegedly assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Combs' lawyers have filed a motion to prevent the video from being used in court, arguing that the footage could unfairly prejudice the jury. Meanwhile, prosecutors anticipate that the trial could last 3 weeks, but left open the possibility of additional charges. Combs remains in federal custody and is scheduled to appear in court again in December. That's it for today's news recap. From a foiled terrorist plot in the U.S. to the aftermath of Hurricane Milton, we've covered some major stories. Stay informed, stay safe, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. We'll see you in the next video.